All right, the FAC is the smallest conference in our coverage, and after tonight, those teams are halfway through their conference slate. Right now, 3 teams look like they could take it home this season. FAC fanatic Blake Baker, he's been watching closely all season long. So how would you describe this conference in its first year, Blake?
It's top heavy. Like you mentioned, 3 teams are looking head and shoulders above the rest so far, and one of those teams has come as a bit of a surprise to us. That team is the Hillsboro Indians. Last season they were 4-6, and entering this week they were 5-2. They were coming off an emotional win at home, homecoming against Washington Courthouse, but unfortunately for the Indians tonight, a 28-6 loss to Jackson. They couldn't slow down that Ironman rushing attack or control the ball long enough to pull this one out tonight.
So, Blake, this is a loss for Hillsboro, as you just mentioned. Kind of put that into perspective for us. What's it mean?
The outlook in the long run is not too good for the Indians. They sat at number 11 in their respective region before this game, and with the loss, it doesn't help them a whole lot. They play the 2 worst teams in their conference the next 2 weeks. That win would have done a lot for them. They're going to need some serious help to get to Week 11.
Right, and you just mentioned Week 11, so talk to me a little bit about the playoffs and, their season as a whole.
So, well, despite the potential of missing the playoffs, the Indians have no reason to hang their heads. This is the first guaranteed 500 or better record since 2009, and Coach O'Rourke just keeps on building. He doubled the win total last season and has the potential to nearly double it again this season. They found a group of core playmakers, and they did not disappoint this year. It wasn't the results that they'd hoped for, but great competitive turnaround from these guys.
Absolutely, a huge competitive turnaround for them. So now let's transition. I want you to talk to me a little bit about Jackson and Chillicothe.
So these teams are very similar and very different in a lot of ways. Differently, Jackson has converted 5 of their last 7 conference title chances, while Chillicothe hasn't won a league championship since 1990. But similarly, they're both well coached, they both have a stout defense, and they're both led by star ball carriers.
All right, we're led by star ball carriers. So talk to me about those guys that lead the offense.
Yeah, I guarantee you've heard about these guys, and I guarantee you're going to keep hearing about them. Blake McCoy, he's a downhill runner. He plays for the Ironmen. Great in the backfield, great vision. He's not afraid to lower his shoulder, and he can definitely outrun you too. He's an experienced runner. Like I said, he's been a big part of that backfield for a long time. And Brandon Moffmer, on the other hand, is dynamic, elusive. He gets the ball on a ton of different opportunities. He designs runs for him. He's got the ball on scrambles. He keeps the defense on their toes, and he's a great playmaker.
All right, so we talked about the offense, but who do you think would have the upper hand on defense?
It's got to be Jackson. They're the best defense in the league. They've allowed at least 40 fewer points than the next best defense, and they're allowing around 15 points a game. But to win in Week 10 against Chillicothe, they got to make Moffmer more one-dimensional. They can't allow him to skitter out on the perimeter and get out in space and beat him to the outside. The Ironmen are going to be tested with the playmakers from the Cavaliers, and I'm expecting a great battle this one in Week 10.
All right, so now put this into perspective, the historical value of Jackson and Chillicothe leading into Week 10.
Yeah, the last 5 years, it's been pretty dominated by Jackson, but Chillicothe does have a 1-game winning streak, and that's going to go a long way for him in momentum. It was a thriller at Herrnstein Field last year. Jackson missed a last-second field goal, and that resulted in a Chillicothe win. And 3 of the past 5 matchups were decided by 3 points or fewer, and there was an overtime contest too. So this season this year, we're thinking it's going to be for all the marbles, in Jackson Week 10.
All right, now before we let you go, let's talk a little bit about playoffs briefly.
Yeah, so it's almost the exact same scenario for both teams. A win at Hillsboro tonight really helps Jackson, and in the respective regions, they're both at 7. They both need to win out to ensure a playoff berth.
Well, good stuff for you, Blake. You're always bringing the analysis, and we appreciate it, my man.